Weekend nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. If you need any lawn and landscaping needs, anything, your grass cut, your flower bed done, it mulched, a paper patio, a fountain, I don't know, anything. If you got this landscaping idea, you just can't figure out how to put it together or how to execute it, do me a favor, thank Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Don't think it, just give them a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. And when you do, tell them I sent you. What is up to everybody in chat? Now, I know everybody who's watching my show right now, or would normally be watching my show, is watching Bengals and Brews because I was just on there. So, hey, stranger in there. What's up, stranger? I literally have one person watching right now. Well, waiting for Game On. He was going to join. We started this at 4 o'clock because, well, he said he could join me at 4. So, so far, it's not happening. So, we'll just discuss this. Or I could just end this thing and just go jump back on Bengals and Brews and see what happens. But it's a fun Football Friday show. No news on Trey Hendrickson yet. That front is still not there. From what the information I've gathered is that the Bengals have offered him. I've heard it's $28 million. I don't know any of the details to it. I'm assuming that it's not a long enough deal for Trey, year-wise. I think the money would be right at $28 million, but I'm not positive. So that's what I think the holdup is. Now, like I said before, they texted him and told him basically, hey, we're not going to negotiate. Don't expect anything until training camp, which sucks. It's kind of what the gist of what I got from talking to different Bengals beat writers and stuff. I hope I'm wrong on that. Hopefully it gets hammered out soon because we want to win a Lombardi. We need to get him signed, get Shamar Stewart signed. And the other thing that I just brought up in Bengals and Brews that on the Shamar Stewart front is that the Bengals. Now I heard two different things. I heard that they're trying to set a precedent, but then Chop just said that the Eagles have done this before. Now, the problem with the Bengals is they picked 17th last year and picked 18th this year. And Mims, their first-round pick last year, didn't have to go through this negotiation of what they're trying to do here is set a precedent for the Bengals. And I've heard they're trying to set a precedent, but then I've heard, like I said, the Eagles have done it. So I think they're trying to set a precedent for themselves. So that's what's interesting about this is how all this is going to work out. Now, one thing that Mike Petraglia said earlier on the show this week, and he covered the Patriots forever, pretty much throughout their whole Super Bowl run, that every year in training camp, they had some kind of big news or some kind of big story or something. And his point was you're going to have that when you have great players and you have superstars. So that makes me feel, I guess, a little better because we do have great players. We do have superstars. These guys all deserve to get paid. They deserve to get paid a lot because they're very good at what they do. Football career is very, very short. So they're trying to get as much money as they can for as long as they can play. So I understand all of that. I totally understand where Trey gets annoyed because he said that they told him they would renegotiate. Well, I guess in their minds, they did negotiate. They made an offer, and Trey didn't like it. And he would like, obviously, to have a negotiation with them. And it's like the Bengals are not negotiating. And it's just like Corey and Carl said on Bengals and Brews that they fight you to the end when it comes to contracts. And I've said this a million times. I wish they wanted to win on Lombardi as badly as they want to win contracts. They want to win every single contract and every single trade. It'd be nice if they tried to do that for Lombardi. Now, one thing that they were discussing there and they brought up is you have a quarterback like Jackpot Joey. And if he says, hey, I want you to sign Jamar, T, Mike G, and Trey, then you should do it. And I came back with, well, they have, which they have. They've signed everybody except Trey. I still think they're going to sign him. I don't think they do a great job of trying to have a good working relationship with the player and the agent when it comes to negotiations. But it goes back to where I think that the Bengals have changed. Back in the day, Carl Pickett just talked about this where, again, you go watch on Bengals and Bruce. He went to Mike Brown in 97, I think he said. And Mike said, hey, we're going to go sign some free agents. We're going to do this, yada, yada, yada. Basically try to make the team better. And 98 rolled around, and they did none of it. So Carl basically – Carl went ahead and signed his contract in 97. And Carl basically came to Mike Brown in 98 and said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore, which it gets hard. I mean, that's why I always give Carl and Corey and Willie Anderson, all these guys, credit for being the players they were throughout those years because it's hard to go out there and get your head kicked in every week. So Carl basically said, you didn't do what you said you're going to do. And Carl said, I'm done. And he had one more game to go. He said they lost. He knew they lost the game after they lost the coin flip. So he told his neighbor he was done. So he went over his neighbor, I guess, in the stands, went and handed his neighbor his jersey and said he was done. And Mike Brown's like, no, you're not. You're under contract. And for everybody who says that these guys are $1 million babies and blah, 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 he apparently walked away from about $3 million, which, like he says, chump change now, but I take $3 million. I don't know about you guys. He walked away from it. Now, he was smart with his money. He made money before, but you always want to make as much money as you can, but you just can't keep going through that because you play this game to win. You play this game to win a Lombardi. And it's hard to do that. So when they don't feel like the front office is in it with you. Now, I do think that the front office has changed a little bit. Not as much as we all like. We all just want to go give money to Trey. I do too. Just go get Trey signed. Go get Shamar Stewart. Get him signed. Get him in here. And let's just concentrate on winning a Lombardi. So I guess my point to this whole thing is, contrary to what I'm saying, I do think the Bengals have changed, and Have they changed enough? No, because I want Trey to be done in here. But they're getting close. But he is finally off his phone call. He is in the waiting room. He is the one. He is the only. He's game on. What's up, brother?
Happy to be back, man. How we doing?
Good, man. I was on Bengals and Brewers there because they did this show at 3:30, and they had Carl and Corey on, and Carl was talking about his last days with the Bengals, and he was saying, basically, Mike Brown said, Mike Brown told him in '97 that, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to free agents, we're going to do all this stuff, try to make the team better. And Carl, this is during their contract negotiation. And Carl said, all right, he signed. He said, sounds good. That's what I want. I want to try and win. Signed his contract. And then 98 rolled around. None of that happened. As Mike Brown would tend to do in the 90s. So Carl was done. And he walked away for $3 million. And then one of the guys on the show came back and said, well, that's where the Bengals, if Joe Burrow comes out and says, I want him to sign Jamar, T, Mike G, and Trey Hendrickson, which I think everybody he mentioned. And I go, well, wait a second. They have, and it was Chop. Chop goes, who? I'm like, they signed Trey, they signed Jamar Chase, and they signed Mike. I said, the only one they haven't signed is Trey. They're working on it. I mean, it sucks. I wish it'd get done. But to me, it sounds like the organization has, in my opinion, changed. Not as much as we all like, but I think they have changed.
No, they've absolutely changed. I mean, you're paying Chase to be the highest paid non-quarterback, and then Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback when they made the deal happen. So they've absolutely changed in that regard. They paid Tee Higgins $28.5 million. I don't think a lot of people last year would have said that deal would have ever happened, and it did. Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that we all have to remember about Trey is I remember a conversation between Burrow and Chase where they both came out on the microphone and said, well, we all want to stay in Cincinnati, right?
Right.
And so we're going to do what we need to do in order to stay in Cincinnati and make it work so that everybody can get paid. And so T ended up taking a little bit less than what the market value was on T, right? He was at 28.5. The market value was probably right around 31, maybe 33, if you really look at it. So, I mean, that is where the Bengals are at with Trey, man. I mean, I think they're hoping that he takes a little bit less so that they can kind of fit more pieces. I think they're probably thinking about Orlando Brown Jr., a couple years from now. I think they're thinking about Dax Hill. They're thinking about Miles Murphy, potentially DJ Turner. There's so many good Jordan Battle. There's a lot of guys
contracts are going to be up. Yeah, a lot of them.
So,
and like I said, the stories I've heard is I've heard Fuzzy Ball says I'm not paying Trey $35 million. I'm not paying him $35 million either. And I don't really think he's asking for that. He's not going to get Max Crosby, Myles Garrett money.
Right.
From what I've heard from different beat writer stuff and stuff I read, I think it's 20. I think they've offered $28 million. I think. I personally think it's the length or some other details in that contract, and that is what is the holdup, I think. And the other thing is, for what it sounds like, the Bengals made this offer and haven't talked to him at all, which is a weird way of having a negotiation when that's where I'm kind of like, I think the Bengals are like, here, this is it, take it or leave it. But I don't know.
I'm wondering if there's some posturing there, because sometimes players come out and say, hey, the team really hasn't communicated with me. And it's like, what do you want them to say once they have their offer on the table, right? Like, oh, hey, Trey, by the way, hope, we can see each other for Thanksgiving this year. Offer still stands, $28 million.
Well, you remember T was out there, and remember he, because I think Duke, I think it's, if I get this right, Duke said something about wanting to keep Trey at the combine or something, that they had negotiations or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
It felt like Trey was the odd man out, didn't it?
Yeah, well, he said it, not to Trey, he said it to T, and then T tweeted out the emoji cap. Like he's capping. That's not true. So everybody freaked out about that, because that's the thing. It's like everybody, a couple months ago, everybody's freaking out about, oh, we're not going to be able to sign T. We're not going to be able to sign Jamar. This isn't going to get done. It all got done. It was dirty. It was messy. I wish it was a lot smoother and easier. I still think the same with Trey is going to get done. It's just the Bengals fight tooth and nail for every contract. And I've said this. I wish they'd fight tooth and nail for a Lombardi like they do for every contract.
On the years too, as well. If we could dive into that for a second.
Good.
I don't think other teams, I don't think, would be offering 4 to 5 years on an extension. I think they'd be offering
not for 30
3 years. And
Mhm.
the Bengals are trying to add 2 more years onto the current deal, or they're trying to rework it so it's a 3-year deal. I think that's fair, man. And I think it's unfair for, the player Trey Hendrickson to have to ask the organization for a 4 to 5 year deal and then right off into the sunset. They know what he's trying to do here. He wants that forever contract,
Mhm.
and they're saying, no, you got to come back to the negotiation table. You got to
Right.
continue to prove that you're that guy out there, and then we'll continue to talk depending on the results. I think 28 million, though. I mean, if I'm just being an honest person, 28 million is not a bad number to
not
live
at
with.
all.
I mean, if they come up to 30, I would still even say that's not a bad number.
30 is the highest I
situation.
would go. And then the national media here, Trey's asking 35. Well, of course he's going to ask that. Yes.
Of course he is.
If you're negotiating, you're asking up here, like, all right, and that's how you negotiate. I want the moon,
Right.
And then, you get the basement, and then you try to work it in between there. I think you and me talk about this. I think it's going to be around 30 is what I think. That's just kind of what I think. And then I think it's going to be 2 years. I'd be shocked if it's any longer than that, which would make it 3 years counting this year.
Right. Right. And the question really becomes, are the Bengals just going to pay him a butt ton of cash up front and then to try to continue to make that 3rd year kind of easy dead cap?
Yeah. That would be a smart thing to do.
Yeah. And I think that may be the move for them. But really, for Trey, I just don't see a way where this, the whole sitting out thing works out in his favor. Just looking from a player standpoint, right? If you sit out games and then you play 9 games, and maybe you get 6, 7, 7.5 sacks, you don't think the Bengals are going to tag you again if you get 7.5 sacks in like 9 games?
That's what I keep saying. Yeah, I mean, they could tag him. I mean, because the thing is, the Bengals. Who else would they tag? I mean, they're really.
Right.
I mean, unless
Joshua next year.
Yeah, unless Joshua Osai or Miles Murray have an unbelievable freaking year, which I hope they do. Maybe that would happen. But as of right now, May 30th at 4/17, the only person they would tag is Trey.
Right. The Bengals cap space next year, I think, is over 100 million plus. So they absolutely have the cap space to be able to tag.
Yeah. People who crack me, they got the money. They got plenty of money. They can pay him 35 and fit it under there if they wanted to. They're not going to. Yeah. And I think we still got the whole thing with Pratt, which I want to get your opinion on this. Mike Minnick tweeted this out, I think last week or this week. I can't remember that. He said maybe they're trying to restructure, which I at this point I don't know. I would be shocked if that happens. But the other thing is though too, June 1st is coming up here, and you know more about this than I do. I think the cap or the cut is less on the cap if you cut them after June 1st.
I don't think it'll be June 1st designation because they could do that today. And
it doesn't matter with him. It doesn't matter with him.
Okay. It really doesn't because
what the hell are they waiting on?
His cap is 7, his debt is 2. You'd get $5 million back. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get value here.
They're trying to trade him.
I think they're trying to say, hey, stay away from the team. He's not going to play in a Bengals uniform because you have Barrett Carter, you have Oren Burks, you have
Logan Wilson,
Demetrius Knight, you have Logan Wilson. You got those 4 guys, and then don't forget you have Shaka Hayward still, and there's Muma Jung Meta. So they're going to have 4 or 5 guys depending on what happens with the roster. So Pratt doesn't fit. The question is, what are they doing? And I think they're going to say, hey, excused absence from OTAs. No dock and pay. We're going to come closer and closer to the season, and if we can, we'll find a trade partner for you to where we can, make something happen. They can slow play this because they can afford to take on a 6th, 7th round pick if in the event somebody's linebacker gets hurt and they reach out to the Bengals. I mean, they're holding the cards here.
And the thing is, too, him and Lou got along real well. I would definitely think if he ever got cut, the Colts will pick him up real quick. So I'm kind of like, I wonder if the Bengals hey, give us a 6th, 7th round pick for him. He's yours.
Right. And the Colts, I mean, I was talking to one of their fans the other day. They don't like Zaire Franklin. I guess he's a guy that misses a lot of tackles too, and he's a tackling machine. Maybe they feel like Pratt is a Lou guy. Like maybe that's the quick fix there between those two guys. But that's something to keep in mind if you're a Bengals fan.
Definitely is. The other thing I'm excited about, and I love that Burrow came out this week and was in an interview. I can't remember who had it, but talk about Jermaine Burton, not Darnell. I said this earlier this week. I kept calling him Darnell. Darnell is a former Bearcat basketball player. Jermaine Burton, and how he thinks that he has matured and bought in to this. And G Money, dude, oh my God. If he Jermaine has bought in, and Jermaine has got his head straight on his shoulders and will show up for practice and show up and be on time when he's supposed to be. Oh my God. You add him to this offense, dude, we're scoring 45 points a game.
Well, you already know our quarterback loves to throw the deep ball. So if this guy gets in 15, 20 snaps a game and he's worked in the intermediate as well as the deep game, it's only going to make our offense better. You can't double team Jamar if you have Jermaine Burton winning over the top in one-on-one situations. And then you got Tee Higgins. If Tee Higgins, Jermaine Burton, and Jamar Chase are healthy and on the field together, it's a scary thought.
And then you got Mike G. Don't forget about him too.
And Mike G, exactly.
Yeah,
don't forget Chase Brown coming out of the backfield in space. So it's
and Tosh Brooks, I like him.
It's really going to be the Bengals should be a top 3 offense every year for the next 4 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's no excuse for Taylor not to have a top 3 offense, especially with the given urgency of starting fast early in the season. Building continuity with players. These guys being around each other for so many years. We really shouldn't have a lot of shortfalls like we have the past couple seasons.
The biggest thing is 2 big things for me, and that's the 2 coaches they added, the offensive line, which we've been talking about for 5 years, and now the defense again. And like I said, I've said this before. I said I could see the vision. I see what the Bengals are trying to do, which I like that I can see what they're trying to do. None of this moves in this offseason to me seem like they pulled the oh shit handle. Like, oh shit, we lost DJ Reader. Let's go out and sign Sheldon Rankins. Oh shit, we lost Jesse Bates or not Jesse Bates, but Bell. Let's go out and get Nick Scott. These look like they knew what they wanted to do and how they wanted to handle this. I personally wish they would have went out and got some more veterans on the defensive line or the offensive line. That's what I would have preferred them do. But I can see what they're trying to do, and they're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of eggs in the offensive line coach and the defensive coach to get out of these guys that what we haven't been able to get out of. Because on the defense side of the ball, we got how many first, second round picks on that side of the ball?
We still do. Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's where I'm like, I see the vision. I wish they would have done this, but I like at least to have a vision. It's just I hope it works because. Yeah, I said this earlier this week. It's kind of scary. It's kind of the Reds kind of did the same thing this year, where they went and got Terry Francona. Like, all right, we're all excited. Yeah, I got Terry Francona, cool. Yeah, and then they added some people, but not really a whole lot. It's kind of basically the same team we had last year, and so far it really hasn't worked out. They're kind of exactly the same spot they were last year. That's what's scary because I can see similarities to what the Reds did to what the Bengals did this offseason, and I'm hoping I get different results from the Bengals, especially with the defense. The offense I'm not worried about. And the offensive line, I don't think I'm worried about. I really like Fairchild. He got Cody Ford and say what you want about Cordell Wilson, but he could play better. I mean, they got enough talent there. I think that the offensive line will be okay.
Yeah.
My more worry is getting that defense at least back to where it was when we went on our Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I think the one thing that people are kind of underestimating is the fact that we have TJ Slayton, who's kind of a 2-gapper on the interior, right? Montgomery's been talking up Chris Jenkins as a 1-2 punch with BJ Hill. So, I mean, that's something that fans should get excited about. Year 2, remember he played with the club for a lot of the season last year. You got McKinley Jackson coming back, and he showed some flashes last year. It's really just about the ends, right? What kind of production are we going to get from the ends? And
Just when I started coming on last year.
Be there,
right? Just when I started coming on last year too.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, I'm a lot more excited about Montgomery with, what we've seen so far. A lot of stunts, a lot of twists, a lot of different movements, guys playing kind of, not one role, but multiple roles on the defensive line, inside and out. I think we should all be really excited about that. I think that's going to help our pass rush ability and allow us to be a more effective defense.
Tebow actually moved over. Tebow was over on Bengals and Brews. Are you watching both? Because I know they're still on. That's why I
Are they still on?
Oh, I'm guaranteed. Yeah, they start at 3:30 and they go till at least 4:30 or longer. So who knows? Well, it's Friday, man. Dale's probably drinking rum, so it's Rum Dale. So who knows what's going on there?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
5 o'clock somewhere, baby.
5 o'clock Dale.
So, with that being said, just give me a bold. How do you feel about this season? Because I always look at everything with orange-colored sunglasses. I think it's going to work out. I think we're going to go to the Super Bowl, win this damn thing. I think this is one of our best shots. To do it. To be honest, with T and Jamar signed, but we got to get off to a better start. So, just give me a bold prediction. What's your orange-colored sunglasses, G Money, hype machine, all about the Bengals? What's your hot take?
My hot take. So I think they're going to go 11-6 this year. I think they'll work through some stuff, but I think it'll start faster this season. They've got a favorable schedule at the beginning of the season. Late in season is where it's really fun. You've got the Ravens, Bills, Ravens again. Mm-hmm. And then you've also got that gauntlet week 6 on where I think you got to play the Packers, the Lions. There's a lot of great opponents there. I think Denver's in there. I think there's a few great opponents in there. So I'm excited about that. But I think this team is going to be battle tested. I think the one thing that fans will get excited about is that I feel like they're going to win at the end of games. I think they'll have some consistency there last couple minutes of the game. I think
run the ball a little bit more.
I think we'll run the ball a little bit more. I think Chase Brown gets accentuated a little bit more. Remember last year, it really wasn't utilized properly, I think, until probably week 7, week 8.
Zach Moss got hurt. Yeah.
Zach Moss gets hurt. So he's going to be the guy that's going to come in and make something happen there. Obviously, Burton, that's not so much a hot take, but I do think he can go for 400 or 500 yards and really help out this offense. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I've said this all along, I think DJ Turner is the perfect fit for the Al Golden system. He was the best man coverage corner coming out of college from Michigan. And the kid is really, really physical. Last year, he showed his best season thus far. I think his quarterback rating against was like 67 total, and he had so many great plays in that Chargers game. I just wish we could have gotten to see a full season from him. I'm really excited about DJ Turner in this system.
Yeah. It's just the DB room in general. I think cornerback specifically. I think they're going to play a lot better than they did last year. One, they're not going to get injured. I don't think CCB is going to have the year he had last year. I think he had a bounce back year. Fuzzy Ball section $5 super chat. It says Miles Murphy will have a breakout season. I hope so, and he's going to have to. I mean, honestly, he this is a make or break year for Miles. He's got to do something, and so I'm here for it. I hope he does. I'm praying that he does because we need him to. But back to the quarterbacks, I really think, and that's the thing too, is if we get consistent pressure on that quarterback, that'll help our cornerbacks. I mean, I'm a big Fig Newton guy. I love Fig.
Yeah,
Josh Newton. I think he impressed the hell out of me last year. I like him on the inside. That's where I think they're talking about moving him to. I think that might be his spot. I know people talk about putting Dax Hill in there, which I think that might be his best spot too. But they're paying him so much money. You don't pay an inside guy that much money. I think that.
Yeah.
And I think Dax looked pretty damn good on the outside last year before he got hurt. Now we'll see. Coming back from a knee injury, that's where Turner might get more playing time than Dax does at first till, he gets his knee back under.
I'm really trying to understand where Cam Taylor-Britt fits into all this. That's what I'm trying to understand. That's what I need to know as we come into camp and, what we see once we get to the July period, right? Like, is he out there with first team?
Right.
Because if you're telling me Dax Hill's going to play outside DJ Turner is a perfect fit for this system. Where does Cam go? That's where I'm really, really interested, because if you're telling me Fig is going to be on the inside, here's what I'll also tell you. Burks had an article with Jeff Hobson where he basically called Dax Hill the ultimate chess piece. I think Dax is going to play inside and out. I think he'll play nickel linebacker. I think he'll play outside corner. I think he'll situationally blitz on the interior, and he'll be a great run defender for us in a loaded box system.
That's exactly kind of what I think. I said he'll be outside, but I think he might be that Ginsu knife guy, where he can move inside and outside, and that's what's good about having him. He can do both. Josh Newton could do both. You got two guys now. I think they're going to use Dax more in that than Newton, but that's the thing is we got multiple guys that can play multiple positions inside and out, and we have two. I think as long as Cam Taylor gets back to where he was, that's where I think it's going to be Cam, and I think Dax, and then because the thing is
DJ plays situationally. You think
DJ can play situationally, or like you said, they could put Dax on the inside. If that's his best spot, they could put him there. You put DJ on the outside. Honestly, that's your best three right there, in my opinion. Yeah. That's your best three. I just don't know if they're going to do that because of the money they're paying Dax. That's where I'm at. I think
Dax is on the field. Dax is going
to be on the field for sure. Yeah, for sure. I just don't know. I just don't think they're going to keep him on the inside the entire time. I think he's
right. No. I think they'll play him. I think they found great comfort in playing him outside last season. I think he'll situationally play inside, and I think he'll be the third linebacker. Yeah, he's built for it.
Yeah, no, he is. He's totally built for that. Gregor says Bengals September schedule: Browns, Jags, Minnesota, and Denver. 2-2. I'll take 2-2. I mean, I'm hoping for 4-0, but I'll take 2-2. We got to get off. We can't be behind the damn 8 ball this year. We can't.
I've got to see 3-1 from that schedule. You're going up against a rookie quarterback and JJ McCarthy with Minnesota. That one should be a win, guys. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. He's going to make
Minnesota though. So
rookie quarterbs are going to make rookie mistakes. I got to see a win there.
I hope. I mean, you got the Jags. I mean, honestly, if you really look at it, they could be 3-1. Like you just said, Browns, because they should beat the Browns. Sure as hell should beat the Jags. They could be 4. Dude, honestly, they could be 4-0. They beat Denver last year.
Could be 4-0.
They could be 4-0. Really look at that.
That's the start of the gauntlet, right? Minnesota, Denver, Green Bay, Detroit. I mean,
if you put it this way, if you want to put your foot down and say this is our year, start the year out 4-0, and those are all winnable games. They are.
Yep, play playoff football at the start of the season, not at the end of the season.
Where we need to get people in camp so we can get.
That's right. Get people in camp. Which the Shamar situation, like that's the one we got. I mean,
so this is one of the two that Chop brought up on Bengals and Bruce. That I thought. Now I've read that the Bengals are trying to set a precedent that no other team has done this. Now, what Chop said he read somewhere that the Eagles have done this before. The problem with the Bengals is they picked 17th last year, they picked 18th this year, and Mims, sorry, they didn't do that for him last year, and it's one pick difference. That's, I think, the problem. The Bengals are trying to do something that they didn't do with the guy last year, and it's only a pick difference. But have you heard? Have the Eagles done this before? Have you heard that?
I've actually heard that a lot of teams try to throw this in there at the start of a negotiation and see if the player notices. If they put up enough fuss, then they take it out. I've heard that Myles Garrett's rookie contract had it in there.
Well, there you go. I mean, Shamar could play. I mean, Demetrius Knight is playing, and he ain't got a contract yet. He's not signed. They could practice.
Shamar's agent is very stickler. I don't know.
Who is his agent?
I don't know if you know this guy, but he also represents James Cook, who's being held out right now from OTAs, and he's looking for a contract extension in the form of $18 million a year. So, like, this guy, he's doing it in an interesting way. Now, there's an injury waiver that you can fill out in order to practice, and a lot of players, they have that injury waiver in case they do, get hurt during practice before the contract happens. They are insured for the contract. They will get guarantees off of that.
Right.
and he's choosing not to practice. That's the significant portion.
That's like, the whole, if he would practice, nobody'd say a damn word about this.
No, they wouldn't, because
it wouldn't be a story.
Demetrius Knight is practicing.
Right, and nobody's saying anything. He's not signed.
30 out of 32 second-round picks right now are unsigned because the first 2 second-round picks got fully guaranteed contracts. That's one's also going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're leaning toward. I mean, the players, obviously, they want fully guaranteed contracts, but NFL is not for long. They haven't done that in the past.
Right. The name of the agent is Zach Hiller.
All right, Zach Hiller, I don't like you. Unless you want to come on my show and we can discuss this.
I think so. He represents couple guys. He represents Zay Flowers, Cam Smith, James Cook, J.K. Dobbins, and Dalvin Cook are the names, and a bunch of guys that are no longer in the league that he did represent. At this point, he has really 4 guys that are active, and in addition to that, Shamar Stewart. So he's got 5 guys right now on. Well, so I would kind of be a stickler too, if you've only got 5 guys.
You're trying to make a name for yourself. Yeah, I mean that's
what
you
have to be a hard ass. So.
Yeah, I mean that's how agents. Look, that's how agents make their money and make their name for themselves, is getting stuff that other agents haven't gotten. So I get it. And Trags was on here Wednesday, and he thinks it's not that big of a deal. Which, I mean, I really don't think missing.
That's what Murphy was saying. That's what Max was saying. He was saying, look, it's not a big deal. Like, the team will take it out.
Was Max on a space with you?
Yeah. But Max he's been saying it on the TL too. He's like, a lot of people just don't understand how many details are in these contracts.
I don't even want to. Their contracts are this damn thick.
Agents have to go through. I equate it to, my wife is a wedding and event coordinator. Like, how detailed you have to be in wedding and event planning with every little thing for a wedding to be perfect is similar to how an agent has to handle a contract. Has to go down to every little detail and make sure that every little thing is buttoned up for the player to get the right deal.
Yeah. And well, I've had Jesse James on here before, Jesse James Taylor, and he's an NFL agent, and just hearing him talk about, sometimes he'll spit stuff out. I'm going, okay. I have no clue what the hell he's talking about. It's just contract jargon or whatever. It's ridiculous. That's why these guys are lawyers who do this stuff. And so, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to get done. I think trade's going to get done. Yeah. I just really don't want it going. I want it done before training camp.
Right.
I don't think trades is going to get done before training camp right now.
Don't let it linger into late July, because late July is when we start the real test and tune of the football team. Yeah. Continuity building, getting after it with the coaches, and then end up, at the end of that, in scrimmages and all that stuff. Like, that's where you really.
I'll put it this way. I think Trey can miss stuff. I don't think that would hurt him as far as playing. Shamar needs to get in here. But I want Trey.
Is Trey doing everything right now in the offseason to get himself ready for the season? Like, is he? Because that's the one thing we really haven't heard.
Right.
We've seen Trey Hendrickson in a golf shirt and a golf hat out on the field talking about how he has a dislike for the organization now and things haven't gone the way that he wanted to. Reconciliation is still possible, but it's like, is this guy still in the weight room? Is he still conditioning himself to be the best version of himself if a deal does get signed? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, what I was trying to say is I don't know that. I would assume he would be, especially if you want this money. You bet, and you're going to hold. You better be ready to go. So I think he would be. And the thing is, for install stuff like that, I mean, all he does, unless they're going to move him around, which that's what I've kind of hoped they would, but I don't. They never do. He puts his fingers in the dirt and goes after the quarterback. He doesn't really. I mean, he does drop back a little bit, but not very much. So for him missing part of training camp, I don't think it would be that big a deal as far as him hitting the ground running.
Right.
The point is continuity and not having this hanging over the Bengals the entire training camp. Oh, they're going to sign Trey. Oh, what's going on? Well, Trey said this. That's what would be nice to not have like we had last year.
Right.
Get him in here, get him happy, and let's go. And because I go back to Jamar. Yes, he won the Triple Crown last year, but his first 2 games, it wasn't Triple Crown Jamar. He was good. I mean, Jamar's good. I mean, he can walk, he can fall out of bed and probably catch a touchdown. But he wasn't Triple Crown Jamar. He finally, I think, got his head around this, like, all right, this is what it is. I'm going to go ball out. And he did. And that's what I don't want to happen to Trey, because we got to a bad start with Jamar the way it was. We really need Trey on this defense. I mean, he's not more important than Jamar, but he's pretty damn. He's the only pass rusher we have. So
right.
We need him.
The defense relies on him a lot. I remember the secondary players when that article was first released about Trey and the Bengals being far apart. You know, I think Cam had a emoji sent out. I think Jermaine had one. I think Geno Stone said something. Like they all really value who Trey is as a person and a player.
Yes,
he's the leader on that defense.
He is. He is. Joseph Masai even talked about when he recited of how much Trey means to him and stuff. So he's a big part of that defensive room.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I don't want him not there. That's why I don't want him not there. I want him there. You know, I want him there. I want him bought in. Like, all right, I got my money. Let's go. Let's go win Lombardi. That's all I want these guys focused on. Winning a Lombardi. I don't want to have to talk about contracts or any of this other stuff. Go win a Lombardi. And the thing is, dude, with having Jamar and T signed, now I know we got a lot of our young contracts coming up next year. They got a shot with this. The offense isn't going anywhere.
Right.
They got a shot of going to multiple Super Bowls. They do.
Yeah.
They just got to. I mean, that's where I hope the Bengals front office realizes this. Do you realize what you have in your hands? You have a chance to do something historic, not only winning a Super Bowl, winning multiple ones. This is where you're at. It's right here. There's a way you want to get respect. You're tired of what you should be tired of people disrespecting the Bengals, saying they're not a good organization. They don't win, yada, yada. You got it right here in the palm of your hand. It's right here. Take advantage of it. And I get scared that they are worried about other stuff which they run a business. I get it, but you can just get this done. It's one player. Just get it done.
I think people need to remember too, as well, when we talked about the Bengals extending players and fitting everybody into a piece of a pie. Remember, Mike Brown was talking about Tyler Boyd, Tee Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. We want to keep Joe here. We want to keep T here. We want to keep Chase here. We want to keep Boyd here, right? Yep. Those are the 4 guys that he had mentioned in that interview, I think, in 22. Okay? And so they've done that. They've kept their core guys here.
Well, they kept them because Joe Burrow said something about T. I don't think they were keeping T, but go ahead.
That's a good point. But the overlying problem with all of this, and it goes back to Anarumo, is the fact of the matter is the reason why the Bengals have to invest in Trey Hendrickson is because their draft picks have not hit in order for them to say goodbye to Trey. They have not hit the way that they wanted to. Nope. And so they still have a ton of unknowns on their defense to where Trey is an essential piece in order to make sure things are the best that they can be defensively in order for you to get those championship aspirations. I think those guys will be majorly improved under Jerry. I believe in Jerry. I think he's a great defensive line coach. But Trey adds that extra element that takes it over the top. Like,
well,
even
Trey's not one you got to worry about. If he's not there isn't anybody on the defense line you got to worry about. Even
if Miles ends up going for 10 sacks, and let's say Shamar goes for 4, Osai maybe 5, maybe Sed gets, 3 or 4, right? You're still missing a big portion of your defensive line that gave you, that 25% pressure rate when he was on the field. He gave you 17.5 sacks, for the past couple of seasons. It's a big part of your defense that you're missing, where you're saying, hey, we could be less than middle of the pack with the guys that we have, maybe middle of the pack. But with Trey, maybe we can get into top 10 if multiple guys hit on this defensive line that we've been waiting for somebody to to come uplift them and make them better than what they've been.
And the other thing about that defensive line that I think people keep sleeping on is I think it's an underrated move is TJ Slayton.
Yeah.
I think because we didn't have a nose last year. We didn't. They let DJ go and they didn't have one. They actually have one now. And I'm not saying TJ is going to be DJ Reader 2.0, but I think he's going to be close. And if you can get him to, one, be the run stopper he is, and two, at least take double teams, because that's what DJ was so good at, was taking double teams. And that was letting other guys hit one-on-one and getting free shots at the quarterback as well. If TJ Slayton can accomplish that to any degree that DJ Reader did, our defensive line is going to improve just because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's 100%. Last year, the kid was 7th in run defense grade on PFF in that system. There's a reason why we signed him. Oh, by the way, sidebar, Reds take game 1 in Chicago, so that's big.
Did the Bearcats win?
The Bearcats were up 10-5 last time I checked.
Yeah, they were up 8-3 last time I knew.
I didn't see the end result. I can check it for you, though.
Brad,
but anyway, so Jerry knows what this kid brings to the table. He knows that he's a fantastic player. He knows that, with guys like B.J. Hill next to him that are a veteran presence on that interior, that he can at least take on double teams and allow B.J. to play a little bit more freer. Chris is going to have a much better year this year if he can stay healthy. He's a huge part of the Bengals being able to force 3rd and long situations in order for the playbook not to open up. Burrow talks about it all the time. 3rd and manageables, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, playbook's wide open. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, playbook not so wide open. So, you feel really good about. So
yeah, I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden, you muted for a second there. Brad said,
"Yeah,
huh?
My mom called.
Oh, doesn't she know you're all sports strawberry ice?" Brad said Bearcats won 11-6. So there you go.
Let's go.
We got two winning baseball games, and I watched the Bearcats. I didn't watch the Reds at all, as I was getting ready for the show. And then
Bearcats are so much fun, dude. I mean, we're 18th in stolen bases in the league. Everybody's freaking fast. We hit home runs. Our pitching, we get 7-8 Ks from our starters.
Play that small ball, baby.
So much fun. So much fun.
So let's talk a little Bearcat football here.
Yeah.
All right. So
Satterfield.
Yeah. I am not the biggest Sat fan. I will tell you that. He has been rather disappointing. Last year pissed me off. You needed 1 win to be bowl eligible, and you lost 5 in a row.
Yep.
I mean, they got a good quarterback. I don't really know a whole lot about the recruits or anything, to be honest, because I just haven't been paying attention. Yeah. But for Sat, I really do think this is a make or break year for him. It's got to be. You can't. This is year 4. You can't. You got to at least make a bowl game. Damn it! I mean,
him and West are in the same spot.
I think so.
They're right on the outside. Can they get in? Now they produce guys that they're bringing in great talent. There's no doubt about it. They're bringing in guys that are 3-4 star guys. They're just not getting anything out of them. And they're getting guys. I mean, what's his face is getting guys drafted, right? Mm-hmm. There are Bearcats that are being drafted. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Wes. He's getting guys to go to other teams and be really productive.
Yeah, for other teams.
Victor Locken, and now we're probably got Dylan Mitchell's going to be great with St. John's.
Oh, you lost for St. John's.
I mean, there's guys every year that we get that end up playing terrible for Cincinnati, and they go elsewhere and they're fantastic. So that's
the problem. That's why I'm like, well, why? That comes down to coaching, but. That's what they both. My problem with Sat is, like when Luke was here, he threw. Brian Kelly did the same thing. He threw a rope around the tri-state area and got majority of our homegrown talent here.
Yeah,
Sat's not doing that. Tommy Tuberville didn't do that.
Exactly. You gotta establish the relationships with the local coaches here. You got to get the homegrown talent. We want to have guys from Elder, St. X, LaSalle, Moeller, Moeller was in the state title past 2 years, right? That
Mhm.
kid Ponatowski. I mean, what if he came to Cincinnati? That would be fantastic. Now
I'd be
he's
fine.
got an offer from Michigan
Right. Well,
to go play football there. So
I don't think we even offered him anything.
no, we didn't. He's bringing in guys though, like
Yeah,
Tony
he is.
Walker.
But I want to see results on the field. Like you
Yeah.
can't start out like you did last year where they did good and then you fall flat in your face. You can't have that. You can't.
I don't really know what happened last year. Because Sorsby was started off so great, and I was touting him like one of the best quarterbacks in the NCAA.
Yep.
And then after about game 4 or game 5, he just went downhill. I think it was after the Texas Tech game where we threw for like 450 yards and he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns. After that game, he just went downhill.
And he said, Brad here says Satterfield doesn't like Nip at Night games, which is bullshit. Nip at Night is freaking awesome.
Nip at Night's awesome.
Oh, dude. And that's saying, now that he says that, we haven't had very many Nip at Night games. And I wish they would, because I will take that college atmosphere against. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best, but damn it, it's up there.
Yeah.
With these other ones. I mean, it is just. Nip at Night, it's when the crowd's into it and it's loud. Of course, it's dark and everybody's been tailgating for a couple hours.
Right.
It's rowdy as hell in there, dude, and it's fun.
Now, the one thing that I am excited about some of the transfers that come in. Like McDoom is going to be much better than what we got, and Jordan Young. Like he was I think it was either SWAC or whatever, but he was first team all pro or first team, all conference. There. Tawee had 10 touchdowns last year with Wisconsin, so he's going to be an upgrade. Royer's coming back for another year. We hope Sorsby will be healthy. He was clearly not healthy moving into the end of last season.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's fully
healthy. He got hit a lot last year, too.
He got hit a lot.
He don't need to get hit that much.
But I would say my biggest gripe with Satterfield is his situational game plan. He plays it a little bit more conservative. He likes to run the football more. It's not a recipe for success. He has to throw the football. I think Sorsby is a great quarterback that can deliver, 300-400 yards a game if you put it in his hands. He just really, really likes to run the football. And we need to move away from that. We need more pass game. We've got the receivers to do it. There's been some guys that have transferred out because of the receivers that we've gotten. The Cyrus Allen from Texas A&M is going to be great for us. There's a lot of guys that are coming in that could be really good for this team. But the biggest thing for Satterfield is if you don't make a bowl game, you're gone.
You got to be gone.
You got to make a bowl game.
The only thing I say is Neil Meyer, who covers the Bearcats for Front Office News, has said that in his opinion, this offensive line this year is going to be just as good as when we went to the Peach Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, which would be great. That would help out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, getting Sorsby not hit would help. So, like I said, he's got the talent. It's year 4. He's got to make a bowl game. He's got to. And Wes, to me, has got to make the NCAA tournament. And basically, he's blown that whole team up. I mean, there's only basically 3 guys left from last year's team. And for me, my biggest thing that is irritated, my biggest problem with Wes Miller, he doesn't play big boy basketball. You're playing in the Big 12, you got to play big boy. Which means you got to have some big guys in the post that can score. I'm not saying it has to be Danny Fortson, you throw the ball down to him every single time, but you got to be able to at least get the ball in the paint and score. They weren't even looking in the paint last year. They made it so easy to guard them. All you had to do is guard the 3-point line. That was it. And these guys
we did a lot of screen and rolls, and we tried to do action off the rolls, and it didn't work out.
It worked at first until the defense knew what you were going to do.
I think Aziz was a bad fit for the system, and I think that Page wasn't what we expected him to be. But at the same time, West didn't do them any favors, right? No, I think you've got athletic dudes that are rim runners there, both of them. You got to use them in those situations. You got to get the lobs up. You got to get those guys involved on the inside. And we just didn't do it enough. They came out to the top of the key and they made they tried to do switches.
And they weren't good enough 3-point shooters to shoot as many as we did. They weren't. Yeah. And the guys like Betsy was supposed to be this great 3-point shooter, and it never he hit him, but not to the consistency that I was led to believe that he would hit him. And
Yeah.
You if you're going to be a 3-point shooting team, you got to hit the 3-pointers. And if you're not hitting them, go inside. And we didn't have that. But we'll see what happens. Game on. This has been fun, brother. I appreciate you. Go check him out first. He's on Spaces all the time. He's on. Go check him out. Game on 513. Anything else you want to plug before I let you get out of here?
At Game on J Money on Twitter. I do Spaces. Top of the bar or top of the screen, purple bar across. Click on it. I'm on there. Do a show called Bengals Daily. If you can't find it, check out my page.
What time do you normally do that?
Do what?
What time do you normally do that show on Spaces?
Usually do it from 5 to 5:30 on my way home from work. Since I work from home on Fridays, usually I try to open one earlier in the day.
This is why I never see that one, because I'm always doing my show then.
Yeah. But Jeff, always great to be on with you, man. You're awesome.
Absolutely.
I love it. You know, you bring in the energy, me bringing the energy. This is an energy type show. I love being on here with you.
Hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. Okay,
Let's do it, baby. Let's go. Who Dey?
All right. Who Dey? All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Game on. G Money is freaking awesome. Go check him out on his Spaces. Check him out on Twitter. He knows what the hell the boy is talking about. Like I said, we thought about the Bengals. I think they're going to get everybody signed. I think Trey's getting signed. I think Shamar Stewart's going to get signed. It just takes longer than we all want. We'll see what happens. Tony, wait a minute. I thought it was 5:30. We went early because Game On could come on early. Trust me, if I would have known I was going to get invited on Bengals and Brewers, I probably would have just went on their show and stayed on their show all day, and I haven't done a show today, but I didn't know they were going to invite me on. So anyway, if you guys are not, if they're still on, I might jump back on there. Anyway, let's get the hell out of here. I'm going to thank my sponsors. They are as follow Priority Lawn and Landscaping. If you guys need anything, and I mean anything, lawn and landscaping, thank Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Get your grass cut, get your flower beds mulched, get a retaining wall, get a fountain put in, get some shrubbery put in, whatever. You said trimmed, anything. Need some mulch, need some rock, need anything. Thank Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Give me a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. And you follow them on Facebook. And when you call them or message Johnny, tell them you heard about them on Sports with Strawberry Ice. Also, the show is brought to you by T Properties. Quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And, of course, shout out to Meyer Window and Doors and more. Check out their website at meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. They give you a free estimate. You get to see Matty Myers and the Jackpot Joey Mobile. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They can put doors wherever you want. They put windows wherever you want. You want a skylight or what's it called? Skylight in your roof. They can do that. You want to take a window and make it a door. They can do that. Anything window and doors related. Give Meyer Windows and Doors a call. Guys, it's been fun. This has been a fun Friday show. I'll be pulling the sound off later on tonight. Put it on the podcast. It'll be on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you have your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a comment and a 5-star review as more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Thank you for watching. I've been a live show on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can follow me on all those, along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you Monday. I think Monday's going to be 4 o'clock again, too. Actually, it will be 4 o'clock again Monday because I got Dan Horde on. So mark your calendars. Sports Strawberry Ice will be on at 4 o'clock Monday with Bearcat broadcaster and Bengal broadcaster Dan Horde. As always, remember, Who Dey for life. And throw it up. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Weekday nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with Strawberry Ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry Ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse that's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeat strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. CTV got what we crave.